All right. Shalom, shalom, my beloved brothers and sisters. Welcome back to day 83. And we're on part 2 of Be Encouraged. And something that we have to realize no matter how much we see going on today in our life, right? Because right now, here at HouseofRest, where we're in a good season and time to be alive, we have to keep courage, right? And a lot of people think that courage is having to stand up in the flesh and punch people and be strong like the Hulk. No, let's talk about courage, right? Because courage is being able to have mental or moral strength to venture, to preserve, in other words, to endure certain things that go on, to be able to withstand, right? To withstand danger, to fear, and even difficulty. So in other words, let's look at it like this. We're able to mentally, right, withstand the enemy. We're able to morally have strength to withstand the wiles and the schemes. That's why Paul said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? And he said that we able to have. Let me see if I can find it real quick. To withstand the wiles and the schemes of the enemy. What he was saying right there was that we have courage, right? That to stand against those principalities that will be attacking in the days to come, because he also said in his day that the days were evil, right? So let me see if I can find it. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. He said, finally, my brethren, here we go. Listen to this, guys. Finally, my brethren, be strong. Be strong. Guess what he's saying to you? If you don't look at it from the Greek, you're looking at it from the Hebrew. Finally, my brethren, Kazakh. Be strong, to put forth strength, use one's strength, to withstand, make bold, to encourage, right? So he's saying, be strong in Yahuwah, in the power of his might. So Yahuwah is your strength. That's what he's saying. Let Yahuwah be the strength, the power of your might, right? He said, put on the whole armor of Yah that you may be able to stand, that you may be able to stand, that you may have a matz, right? That you may have the courage to stand, to be able to withstand the wiles and the schemes of the enemy, so that you may have a matz, right? To be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So that was Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 12. Now, look, right there, just that little snippet, he was letting us know to have Kazakh Amatz. Now, where we get Rock Kazakh Amatz is when he told Joshua, just be strong and courageous, right? So just be very strong and courageous. In other words, Rock Kazakh Amatz. Come on, guys. Rock Kazakh Amatz. Rock Kazakh Hamas. That's the war cry, not Black Lives Matter, but Rock Kazakh Hamas, right? And as we go forth and seeing what's happening, guys, we have to have that courage. We have to be encouraged and not be discouraged. Let's look at what that word discouraged means. It means to deprive of courage or confidence, to be disheartened, right? And we could easily to allow that stuff to happen. And guess what happens when you're discouraged? It brings forth depression, oppression, then possession. And we don't want to operate under. We can't operate under depression. We can't. And don't get me wrong. I get depressed, but I have to go to the word and allow the word to cleanse that out of me, because yes, at times I get depressed. Right? So I'm not sitting up here saying that because we are children of Yah, we don't get depressed, because we do. It happens. I even studied psychology for a while, and I did the psychology for Christians. and it broke down how so many people, because they are Christians, don't want to admit that they are depressed. So what ends up happening is they become oppressed by their feelings, by their discouragement, by their lack of courage to admit, right? To admit that they are just like everybody else. They have certain issues that come up in life, and you have to face them head on. So therefore, that's why we have to be encouraged, right? To inspire with courage, to get, lift up someone's spirit, to bring hope. And who is the hope? Who is our hope? Yahushua Mashiach is our hope. So he heartens us. He gives us heart, right? Through my weaknesses, his strength is made perfect. And when I can admit my weaknesses, hallelujah, when I can admit my weaknesses, then, right? Then when I recognize my weakness, his strength is made perfect and he's able to operate and use me. Remember, we talked a little bit about being in that operating room. You may not be the nurse. You may not be, Yah is the doctor, right? That's doing the procedure. You may just be a blade. You may be the, you may be the saw that has to cut the heart open. And at times, sometimes we have to have brain surgery, right? To have our mental faculties dealt with. So, guys, we, brothers and sisters, have to recognize that in order for encouragement to come forth, where guess what? That word courage stands in the gap, because we have to have that mental or moral strength to venture out, right? To persevere, to keep pressing towards that mark, to withstand the wiles and the schemes of the enemy, to stand. What did David do? David stood in the face of danger when a giant was on the other side, like had everybody shook. But what did he do? He went out and he was just strong and very courageous. He would rock Kazakamas. He was willing to go the mile because he knew that Yah had his back. What happened with Caleb, right? When all 10 of the people, him and Joshua stood by, and I'm pretty sure Joshua would have spoke up, but Caleb got up and said, "Hey," he said, "we can go and we could take that whole land right now by the power of Yahuwah Eloheinu, and yet y'all sitting up here trying to cause the people to be fearful." And he stood up and he was willing to acknowledge that his courage came from Yah. And what happened when Joshua and him went back into the land? He went to Joshua and said, "Hey, this portion of land right here was promised to me." He said, Yah, through Moses, said that I would be able to receive this land. And guess what he said, guys? He said, I had the same strength. He said, he was 80 years old, 85 years old. He said, I had the same strength that I had when I was 40. Right? He said, I had the same strength. What strength was he talking about? Because remember, if you go back and you read, Yahuwah said, because Caleb was of another spirit, Caleb was willing to acknowledge that it was not his strength that was willing, that he was going forward in. It was the strength of Yah. Right? It was the strength of Yah. And the strength also means being able to courage also means being able to obey, to be obedient when others are want to do their own thing because they're afraid of what the people has to say. A perfect example, Saul, right? Saul, when Yah told him to go and kill all the I think it was Agagites or whatever they were, Hittites, I think they were, or something like that. And Samuel, right? You know what I'm talking about, when Samuel came up and heard all the bad and the goats and all that stuff, and Samuel was like, "What's going on here?" He was like, "Well, hold on, why is the king still living? Y'all told you to go in and destroy everything, right?" And he said, "Well, we figured that if we kept this, then, we could give a sacrifice unto Yah." Now you find out later on that it says that he feared the people more than he feared Yah. So Yah took his spirit away. Why? Because he lacked obedience. And this is why Samuel said, obedience is greater than sacrifice. What did Samuel do? See, a lot of people think that the prophets and the priests were just some guys that sat by. I'm going to break something down to you. The priests were also warriors. Yes, the priests, the Levites were also warriors. How do I know this? Because in Numbers, there was a portion where Balaam persuaded the king to tell the women, hey, tell the women to go into them and then weaken them, and they'll succumb to the women. And so one of these Israelites were just bold and gonna take the woman into the camp after they had already started, all the other ones had been rebuked. And so this one is gonna bring, he had the audacity to bring her into the camp and then take her to his tent. You know what Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, did? He went and took a spear, right? This is Aaron's grandson, went and took a spear and pierced him and the woman through while they was laying up trying to make their little, do their thing. Pierced them through. And then there was another time, and then guess what y'all did? Y'all said through his obedience and through him having a willing spirit to do what I told, what I commanded. Think about it like this now. What I commanded him to do, I will place my covenant of peace with him and his seed throughout all generations. Hallelujah. Right? This is what Yah does. He's a rewarder of those that seek him diligently. A rewarder of them that seek him diligently. And so there's another time, right? There's another time when Phinehas, right? The army's about to go to war. Phinehas had his shofar in hand, his sword in the other hand, and he led the people by blowing the shofar, running into battle. Warrior priest, right? And that's what he's raising up, a royal priesthood, but we're also warriors, guys, because he said, be strong and very courageous. Where do we war at? I know y'all got the answer for that. Throw it in the chat. Where do we war at? We don't war with the natural things. We don't war in the flesh, right? What did it say? Let's see if I can find it real quick. We war not after the flesh. See if I can find it. My trusty Sephora on my phone. It's just quicker for me to go through the phone than to go actually through the. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Bam. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. We don't war after the flesh. But guess what? All this stuff we see happening is to rouse our flesh, to get us all, frustrated and aggravated. And don't get me wrong. It happened. It does happen. We get frustrated. We get aggravated. But guess what we supposed to do, brothers and sisters? That frustration, that aggravation, that anger, we have to do what? Watch this. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, meaning they're not earthly. The weapons of our warfare is not earthly. There's nothing that we can do on the earthly realm to, counterattack Hasatan as far as, swinging swords or shooting guns. None of that ain't going to work against him. None of that's going to work against him. So look, he said, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yah to the pulling down of strongholds. Mighty through Yah, not through me, not through you, but mighty through Yah to the pulling down of strongholds. What do? We take it, as I just asked, y'all know what we are supposed to do. We take it to Yah in prayer. And it's sad because a lot of people's prayers ain't even passing through the ceiling in their living room or the ceiling and when they be in there hooping and hollering, their prayers ain't going past the ceiling. And at times those brothers and sisters that I know is praying, I see their prayers drilling through the second heaven, right? Because the second heaven is the area where the spirits reside, dark, the demonic realm. Remember, they sit in high places. We think that they all in hell. That's what we taught in church, right? But no, they sit in the second heaven. They're trying to counterattack your prayers. Remember, let's go there. God, I love when the Ruach, this ain't none of the stuff. I'm just going by what the Ruach giving me. I do have scriptures that we're going to reference from something. I want to show y'all something. I don't know what just happened now, but I want to show y'all something because this is how you know that they're in the heavenly realms trying to keep our prayers from getting through. But I want to tell you this: if your prayer is fervent, if it's effectual, it was heard from the first day. But sometimes your answer ain't gonna come right away. Why? Because the enemy is combating. The enemy's trying to keep you from being heard. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, watch this. Daniel chapter 10, verse 3. I'm gonna start from verse 3. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 24th day, now this 24th day of the first month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is the Hiddekel, then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold and Euphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like the color of polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, right? I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet I heard the voice of the words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then I was in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. He was in obeisance. And behold, a hand touched me, set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hand. And he said unto me, O Daniel, man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto you, and stand upright. For unto you am I now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. Then he said unto me, verse 12, fear not. Right? This is what Yah is telling us. Fear not, neither be dismayed. Be strong and very courageous. Kazak Amas, right? He said, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day. So them 20 on the first day before the 24th, the first day that he started praying, you were heard. Right? The first day that you did set your heart to understanding and to chasing yourself before your Elohim, your words were heard, and I come for your words. Listen to this. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia. Do y'all realize that there are principalities over this nation, and every state has its own principality. Every city has its own stronghold. Every neighborhood has its own power. I'm breaking down the hierarchy for y'all. So at times when you're being combated, this is trying to get your prayers are trying to get through this, and you might not receive your answer right away, because at time, look what happened. He said, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. So for 21 days, he trying to get there. And guess what? Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Now am I come to make you understand what shall befall your people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. But look at that. That just goes to show that we on a man, Daniel was trying to understand, I'm fasting, I'm praying, I'm seeking an answer. You told me if I seek your face, I shall find. But he came and told him, look, man, your prayer was heard for the first day. So his prayer was able to drill through that area. It was just the fact that when the message was coming, the enemy was combating him, right? And at times, guess what the enemy tried to do? Because he know that now we have that Ruach HaKodesh, and we don't have to have, don't get me wrong, y'all still use his messengers, the angels, but he don't have to have the angel just directly come to us anymore. He'll speak to us through our heart. But guess what the enemy tried to do? He tried to stir up the flesh. So if you're in the flesh, it's hard for you to receive, right, the info that Yah is trying to give you. So this is why he tell us, be encouraged, be strong, be very courageous. Don't allow, the things of this world to overtake you. You have to overcome it. And so that's what we're doing, guys. We're overcoming the wiles and the schemes of the enemy. Let's jump into scripture. Let's look at where we're at here. So we left off, and I've changed the format for y'all back to its original format. But look, it said we left off on verse 3, so we're gonna go to verse 4, but we'll go ahead and read from the beginning. And Moshe went and spoke these words unto all Yasharel, and he said unto them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. Also, Yahuwah has said unto me, you shall not go over the Jordan. Yahuwah Eloheka, he will go over before you, and he will destroy these nations from before you, and you shall possess them. And Yahusha, which is the son of Nun, he shall go over before you as Yahuwah has said. Now, I want y'all to realize something, because this right here, I'm sorry, let me go back. Yahusha, he shall go over before you. This is a foreshadow of letting you know that Yahusha would go ahead of us. He would go to hell. He would die for us. He would, all this stuff. He would be our deliverer. He would be our conqueror. He would be the one that is the first fruits of the resurrection, so that we can receive redemption. And so this is a foreshadow, kind of letting you know that Yahusha, he shall go before you as Yahuwah has said. So he had already ordained it from the beginning, right? And so now let's look at verse 4. And Yahuwah shall do unto them as he did unto Sion and unto kings of the Amorite. Now these were Rephaim, which were giants that come from the tribes of the Nephilim. Not Nephilim. Nephilim are the fallen watchers. Nephilim are the children of the watchers. And then you got the Eliud or the Rephaim. So there's a hierarchy there too, right? And so he said, I will do unto them as I did unto these two kings, these Rephaim. Because it was still more in the land. They were a remnant of what was left, but there was still more in the land, and we know there was, because when it got all the way, even in David's day, there were still giants in the land, right? And so it says this, and unto the land of them who he destroyed. Remember, we talked about that, the destruction that will come to them. Let's look. I'm gonna make this big because I like to be able to jump back and forth. So he said, and Yahuwah shall do unto them as he did unto Sion and unto all kings of the Amorites and unto the land of them whom he destroyed. Now, what is he talking about there? Let's look at Numbers real quick. We'll reference Numbers. And guys, if you, let me pull myself back up. And guys, if you can't remember the scriptures that I was coming from earlier, go back, because like I said, I didn't intend to use them. Go pause it, or when the video get done, go back and start over. That's the good thing about these studies. They're videos. We can always go back and we can get information that we may have, not got, because I do realize, guys, sometimes my brain be in overdrive and I be kind of moving a little fast. So forgive me for that. Sometimes I can't help it. You notice sometimes I get to saying one thing and I don't finish what I'm saying. I just jump into something else. So, but I always come back to what I was originally trying to say. So forgive me for that. I can't help it. It's something that has always, always the way that I operated. So I try to catch myself when I'm doing it. But let's look. Numbers chapter 21. Numbers chapter 21, verses 24 through 33. And I think this is gonna go into that. So, and Yasharel, let's start from verse 23. I'm sorry. And Sion would not suffer Yasharel to pass through his border, but Sion gathered all his people together and went out against Yasharel into the wilderness, and he came to Yahat and fought against Yasharel. And Yasharel smote him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land from the Arnon unto Yabok, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Yasharel took all these cities, and Yasharel dwelt in the cities of the Amorites, and Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sion, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. Wherefore they that speak in Proverbs say, come into Heshbon, let the city of Sion be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sion. It has consumed Ar of Moab and Baali Bamoth of Arnon. Woe to you, Moab! You are undone, O people of Kamash. Y'all know who Kamash is. He has given his sons, basically Molech, that escaped, and his daughters into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shot at them. Heshbon is perished even unto Devon, and we have laid them waste even unto Nophach, which reaches unto Medeva. Thus Yasharel dwelt in the land of the Amorite. And Moshe sent to spy out Yaazir, and they took the villages thereof and drove out the Amorites that were there. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all the people, to the battle of Edrei. Verse 34. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, fear him not, for I have delivered him into your hand and all his people and his land, and you shall do unto him as you did unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwell at Heshbon. So they smote him, his sons, and all his people until there was none left him alive, and they possessed his land. So look, guys, he's saying, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to go before you, right? Remember what we talked about. I'm going to go ahead of you. I'm going to make your crooked way straight. All your enemies will become like stubble in my path, right? Because I am going to burn them with a holy fire, and I will not allow them to stand against the living Elohim, right? So let's look. So, and Yahuwah shall give them up before your face, that ye may do unto them according unto all the commandments. Now, this is what I want y'all to realize. All the commandments which I have commanded you, because this ties into what I was saying at the beginning. When Saul was given commandments, the first king of Israel was given commandments to kill everything that he went, when he went up against that nation, to kill everything, and he chose to keep the king alive and all the animals and things like that, right? Yahuwah gave a clear description. Now, first, let's jump into some of the Strongs. All right, let's jump into some of the Strong. We're gonna go to verse 5. And Yahuwah shall give them up. He shall give them up. That's Strong's H5414. And guess what? The name is Natan, right? And that's one of the name of David's sons, right? Natan, to give up, to put, to set, all right? Bestow, permit, ascribe, employ, devote, consecrate, dedicate, pay wages, sell, exchange, lend, right? To commit, entrust, give over, deliver up. So he's saying that he's gonna deliver up that land to them. So and Yahuwah shall deliver up before your face, right? Strong's H6440. Remember Panim, right? Panim. So he'll go before or in front of you. Panim. That ties to that word Panil, face of, Elohim. Unto them according to all the commandments, the mitzvah, right? All the mitzvah that he has given you. And we're going to talk about the mitzvah. That which I have commanded, right? Savah, right? To charge, give orders, the orders that I have given to you. So I have given you some pretty strict orders, and which means that they need to be followed. And so many of us are given orders, and we kind of try to do it the way that we want to, but he gives us, he will tell us exactly how we need to do it. And at times he will tell us when we need to do it. And sometimes we allow fear to overtake us. For instance, if I would have been caught up in this whole thing that's going on over the earth, I wouldn't have spoke to that cop like I was told to. I want to give y'all another thing that went on with Tameka today. So she's in Walmart, went to get her prescription, and honestly, it was like she was like, "Can you go get it before you go to work?" And me, honestly, guys, I really prefer just to stick to my routine. I hate doing stuff that throws me off my routine, because that would have meant I need to leave at a little bit earlier, like 2:15, instead of, I normally leave about 3:15, but I would have to leave about 2:15 just to go to Walmart, stand in line, wait on the stuff that we needed. Then 9 times out of 10, she'll send me, hey, pick this up, pick that up. And so I would have been in Walmart longer than what I expected to, then got to work. I always get to work at least 30 minutes to an hour early. So anyways, she goes to get some chips or something, and she drops them. And she said, and guys, I'm not trying to use the race card. I just want to explain it the way that she saw it. So she said a guy came up to her, and I knew what she was talking about when she said a guy came up to her, but it was a white male came up to her and said, "I'll pick those up for you." And she was like, "Thank you." So she said when he got up, he said, sorry, like he was apologizing for something that is not in his, that's not in his control. And she was like, "You don't have to apologize to me for that." And she went on to say, because I know how, Black people can be. And at times we carry ourselves, and we're degrading to one another. And the guy turned around and said, well, it's not only y'all, we also have certain tendencies that we carry. So in other words, they both agreed that both sides were wrong. And basically, she told him, she said, well, I really thank you. I want you to have a truly peaceful and blessed day. And he said, and it's funny, we keep hearing it. I'm so relieved to hear you say that. Thank you for telling me, just telling me to have a blessed day. I think that's gonna be the highlight of my day, or something she was saying. So you never know who's watching you. You know what I mean? And if she would have, allowed that fear to overtake her because of what's going on, and she was just like, oh, I'm not gonna say anything to him. And the same vice versa with me, and with all of us, if we allow that to come in and cause separation and cause us to feel a certain way against one another, then that's not love. You know what I mean? And so we're able to display love on a level where we're not being, taken to we're not being taken to that level where we have to, act out and tear up stuff, because that's not courage, right? That's not courage. Intimidation does not breed courage, in my opinion. It's cowardly. What we see happening is cowardly. We saw the guy. We see another guy that emerges dead from a shooting with cops, and now from what I understand, I looked at the footage. The guy was drunk. He was asleep. The cop followed all protocols that he needed to do. He called the proper officer that he needed to do the sobriety test. And the dude, he was lying. He couldn't even give straight answers. And then when they did do a sobriety test on him, and he lied about how much he drunk and all that stuff, they went to detain him. And he goes to try to, and you see the scuffle that he tries to break free. Now, how the body cam ends up on the ground, I have no idea, because with that body cam, I don't know what happened to the other cop's body cam. You can only see the original cop's body cam. It falls on the ground. You hear them say, put down my taser, and then you hear shots. And so you really don't get the whole last part of it, but at the same time, not saying that, I don't know if they're taught to shoot to kill, but I mean, I would have probably shot him in the leg or something like that, but not trying to. But criminals think that this is their time to rise up. They think that because you have this movement out there and think about it, guys, this movement isn't just about Black lives, because I just saw one this morning that said the BT, right? BT, what is it? BTLM, Black Trans Lives Matter. I was just like, oh my goodness. So it's an agenda, right? To push and allow different, anybody that's against whatever they believe in, you know, whether it's homosexuality, lesbian, LGBT, all that stuff, it's all used to raise up this whole group of people so that the Democrats can keep, you know, their votes or whatever. So I don't know. And notice it took the spotlight off of Joe Biden and this accusation of rape that he committed. You haven't heard about that not one time in the news since this whole charade has cut forth. So don't forget about that. There is a person out there accusing Joe Biden of rape, and now all of a sudden that's, you know, on the back burner. So let's look. All right, so he said, I charge you, I command you, I give you charge. So now let's look what's being, because we want to look at Deuteronomy, what commands were given there. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 2. Look, and when Yahuwah Eloheka shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them and utterly destroy them. You shall cut no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Like, this is Yah, and he's saying, don't show no mercy. So this is his command. This is his charge, because he's saying that as these nations come before you. And why is that? A lot of people are like, hold on, why y'all ain't showing mercy? It's because these were this DNA was polluted. It was not even supposed, they're not even supposed to be on the earth. They're not even supposed to be on the earth. These are the fallen angels bloodline. And so Yah said that, you remember, it's going to be a war between those the bloodlines until, you know, Yahusha return. And so this is what we see. Let's look at another one. Deuteronomy chapter 20. These are the commands to destroy, to utterly destroy. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 10 through 20. When you come nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make you answer a peace and open unto you, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto you, and they shall serve you. And if it will make no peace with you, but will make war against you, then you shall beseech it. And when Yahuwah Eloheka is delivered into your hands, you shall smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all of the spoil thereof, you shall take unto yourself, and you shall eat the spoil of your enemies, which Yahuwah Eloheka has given you. Thus you shall do unto all the cities which are very far from you, which are not of the cities of these nations. But of the cities of these nations, which Yahuwah Eloheka gives to you for an inheritance, you shall save alive nothing that breathes. And he finna name them. But you shall utterly destroy them, namely. So in other words, the ones that ain't a part of these Hittites, right? You shall utterly destroy them, namely the Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, the Jebusite, as Yahuwah Eloheka has commanded you, right? As he has commanded you, that they teach you not to do after their abominations, which they have done unto their Elohim. So should ye sin against Yahuwah Elohim, right? When you shall beseech a city a long time and make a war against it to take, you shall not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against it. For you may eat of them, and you shall not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life. Now think about that. When Yahusha healed, right? When he healed the blind man, he said, what do you see? He said, I see people walking as trees. Now, I want you to just think about that. To employ them in the beseech. Now, because the trees they would cut them down and they would use them as, like, you know, barriers. But y'all said don't do that, because the tree is what helps you sustain life, right? He said, only the trees which you know that they be not trees for meat. So now he's going in and saying, the trees that's not for meat, you shall destroy and cut them down, and you shall build bulwarks, you know, barricades against the city that makes war with you until it be subdued. Or rams. That might be what it is, a ram to knock down the walls of the city. But so look at that, guys. Look at what the command is. The command is to go in there now. Those that aren't of those tribes of the Jebusites and the Hittites and the Canaanite, those that are not of those tribes, well, you could bring peace to them and you could tell them, and it kind of reminds you of what Yahusha said to us, right? He said, when you go into a city or a house, you bring your peace with you. But if they don't receive the peace, then you go back out. But now Yahusha chose to do it a different way. He said, now when you leave that city, you take your sandals off and you dust off your feet. Now here, Yahuwah was saying, well, here you kill every male, you keep the women and the children. As long as they ain't Hivites, not parasites. I'm about to say parasites, Hittites and Jebusites and Amorites and any of them. None of the Nephilim tribes, right? So look at that, guys. Look at how important it is to follow that commandment. And even back then, it might have seemed cruel. He's saying have no mercy on them, but it's a reason why he's saying have no mercy. So I want y'all to understand that Yah is a merciful Elohim. But remember, judgment was given to those Nephilim when the flood happened. And so therefore there was some after the flood. So judgment is still upon them. The judgment did not change. He would use a certain set of people. Because remember when he told Abraham that the time of the Amorites had not yet been fulfilled when he was giving them the prophecy on what would happen with his seed in the years to come. So look at that. Now let's look at another one. Numbers 31 and 17. And maybe I hope you get an understanding on this, why it's so important to, like, when Yah gives us a commandment on what it is we should do, because Saul lost the Ruach. The Ruach was removed for him because he was disobedient. And I don't think it was just because he was disobedient once. It's just because Saul would listen to what the people said. He would listen to man more than he would listen to Yah. Remember, we are not to put our trust and confidence in man, regardless of how much it may seem, or how long, or how long he been, in ministry, you know what I mean? Or how long he, been being used by Yah. You still don't put your trust in him, because look at Solomon. He was the wisest man, but yet he was corrupted. And so with more power and acknowledgement of things and accolades, well, there comes corruption with that, because pride can step in and cause you to deviate from Yah's plan, and you start doing your own thing, and you will say, now remember, Yahushua said that men will come saying that they're doing the work of God. Then Saul Paul thought he was doing the work of Yah, until Yah had to stop him on the road to Damascus. And at times we have to be that light to stop our brothers and sisters that we see kind of deviating because they're not doing, and we can't stand in the place of Yah, no, but we can be our brother's keeper. Yes, we are, right? That takes courage. And I acknowledge my brothers and sisters that's willing to bring correction to one another. You know what I mean? Especially if like a lot of people might not want to come to me because they feel like I'm up there. Listen, I'm not up there nowhere. I'm right at level with you. If you have something that God is giving you to tell me, please tell me, because I don't want to be walking in error. And those that ain't willing to accept correction or accept what's coming their way, well, it says that a fool only continues in his folly, but a wise man receives instruction, right? A fool gets angry and disgusted when the truth is presented to him, but a wise man knows how to reflect upon the thing that is brought to him. So that's how we have to view that. So let's look at Numbers 31:17. Numbers 31:17. Let's look at this. It says, now therefore kill every male among the little ones. Just what it say, and kill every woman that has not known man by lying with him. And this is those same group of people. Well, hold on. Okay, so this is where the Moabites didn't want the children of Israel to come through. Remember Balaam, right? So that's verse 17. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. So any male and little one that's a male, and every woman that has already lied with a man, kill them. These are the commandments that are given to them. And so, but the women that has not lied with a man, which are virgins still, you can keep them, right? And use them as tributaries or handmaidens or whatever. So now let's look at one more. Judges chapter 21. Judges chapter 21, verse 11. And look what it says. And this is the thing that you shall do. You shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that has lain by man, right? So these are the commandments that Yah is given to them for them to do. Now, okay, we just finishing up 5, but as we look, we go into the next verse, and I'm pretty sure everybody's ready for that next verse, right? But I'm gonna leave y'all with a cliffhanger because we'll come back to that tomorrow. But he said, be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For Yahuwah Elohai, he it is that goes with you. He will not fail you nor forsake you. So meditate on that. Meditate on that for tonight and to tomorrow as we get ready to go. Let it marinate. And remember that it is he that goes before you. It's he that make your crooked way straight. He wants us to be encouraged, not discouraged. He wants us to be a kazak amatz, be strong and have courage, right? That's what he's saying right there. Kazak amatz, right? He wants us not to be yara to the people to tremble and fear and be afraid of them and feel some kind of way. He wants us to continue to stand strong. You know what I mean? He doesn't want us to be a wavering flame where the wind comes along and you easily blow out. He wants us to be a strong, mighty flame. So when the wind comes, and the wind blows, you want to be careful at that. When the wind blows, it don't start causing a forest fire anywhere, right? Because the flame is so strong, it won't go out. The wind just strengthens it. So you don't want to be a little weak, flickering flame that as soon as somebody it go out. No, we want to be strong. We want to be courageous, and we want to be mighty. And allow Yah to continue to fight our battle, because there's nothing more important than trusting him throughout the outcomes that the day is coming. Remember, we must persevere. We must press on. We must stay strong and not allow the wiles and the schemes of the enemy to overtake us. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and spiritual wickedness that sits in high places. Now, guys, if you're enjoying these messages, I ask that when you hear the sound of the choo-choo train, you hit that like button. Hallelujah. 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 We just give praise to the Most High. And as always, I realized yesterday I did not say it. If you have not given your life to Yahushua Mashiach, do so while there is still time. Give your life to him today. Submit to the one true King, Yahushua HaMashiach. Repent and go to the King. Humble yourselves before the one true righteous King and give your life to him today. And guys, I just heard that one of our sisters want to be baptized. Hallelujah. I got to figure out how to make that happen because we're in North Carolina, she in Connecticut. And guys, when we do baptism, we do not do a pool or anything. We go to living waters. We baptize in living waters here at HouseofRest. So I'm going to figure out how to make that happen. Me and Tameka may be taking a trip to Connecticut. So to make that happen, I just had to find a river up there now. So we'll try to figure out something, get something, I got a place in Georgia that we always baptize in, but we will figure that out. So I thank y'all for that. Sister Carrie, we will try to figure out how to work that out. Y'all keep her in prayer. She said that, and I won't give a praise report on that. And Sister Carrie said that she has been being, healed through coming and joining in our family, and just studying the word, and that encourages me to go day by day, because Yahusha is making a difference in people's life. It ain't nothing to do with me. It's his word that is transforming us, brothers and sisters, and we allow his word to continue to guide and lead us. But until next time, I love you. Yahuwah loves you. Don't forget to say thank you, Yahusha. Love you guys, and we'll be talking soon. Shalom, shalom.